Hello everybody, and in today's video we are going to be breaking down this 2023 World Rowing Cup in the men's single sculls, going over the techniques, what I think people do well, what I think they don't do well, and hopefully break it down in a way that is easier for you to understand, in a way that you can maybe implement it into your own stroke so that you can row faster for the same energy, feel that boat run a little bit quicker. All that good fun stuff. So let's hope that this video doesn't get taken down for sharing some footage of some people rowing, because we all know that broadcasting companies make millions from rowing footage. Just kidding, it's actually just a bunch of weird rowers like myself and you that like to watch hours and hours of rowing footage. Anyways, the starts, so like Ollie Zeidler, this is going to be a little bit of a different format. For those that are new here, my name is Jack Burns. I'm the founder and head coach of Edge Rowing, where we work with busy professionals, getting them rowing to the best versions of themselves. Normally I do like one person and then break down their technique, but I just thought change it up a little bit and break down everybody's and kind of just watch the race as it unfolds. Ollie Zeidler, current Olympic champion in the single, super talented rower. One thing I think he's always done well, that I think, and a big reason he got progress early on in the sport, is because of how he takes out his blades, and he is very square with his blade extraction. This is something he did right at the start, and anybody who knows, he started in the world scene kind of in like 2018, and he's still very technical. He was very ropey then, but one thing he did well, I always thought, was he takes his blade out square, and then doesn't feather it right until that kind of last moment there, and he just gets a really nice clean exit with the spoon, and he applies a lot of power. You'll go really quickly if you do this. If you apply a lot of power and then take your blade out square and clean. I still think he has got so much speed in his catch. Like he is wasting, in my opinion, he is coming in with the blade in this direction before the spoon is locked into the water, which means he basically just kicks on the stern. And if you look at the way he kind of lifts the hands back in towards him and kind of brings in the spoon like that. And what it means is more so exaggerated off the start as well, but just kicks on this stern a little bit too much for my liking. Another good thing he did really well, has always done well, his shoulders are super, like, kind of from here up. Ollie is like super loose with his body, or with his shoulders and with his face. I remember I actually raced him in 2019, and I remember looking back at the footage and just looking at my face, and I was like, ugh. And his face, he was just totally calm and cool. So it was something I learned from that race, is I want to be more loose. If you're loose here, you'll be loose in your shoulders, you'll be loose in your grip, you'll be loose in your stroke. You use your legs more, you'll get a more efficient stroke. But yeah, just not the prettiest on the front, but he gets connected eventually and then takes the blade out really nice and square and clean, and just gets a lot of speed from there on out. Look, okay, another thing I would say with starts is stops worrying about half, three-quarter, half, 1/4, 3/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/4, 3/8. Just start short and then gradually get longer. And I'd say by about 250, you should be at about a race, your kind of full race length, if you ask me, unless you're being super aggressive with your start and you want to front load your stroke. I would say generally 250, 300 in, you should be at kind of your full length. The other tip I would give around starts is make sure that you keep that connection. A lot of the time people think, oh, I have to hit rate 50, I have to hit 45 off the start, and they shorten off their back end. Make sure that you still finish off, especially in the smaller boats, that you finish off your finish and you don't rush through, because that's when the boat's heavier and slower, you can get your acceleration through that back end. So let's move on to Sverri Nielsen, the Danish sculler. I don't like his technique, if you ask me. I don't there's not much I like about it. He's very still and simple, and again, I would say like Ollie, he's very clean with his blade extraction. Um, and interestingly, for those that don't know, Valery Kleshnev did a lot of work with him. Um, he's a famous biomechanist. His book, I think it's actually called Biomechanics for Rowing or something like that. But he like measures people, puts a bunch of like measuring things all over their boat, and tells them exactly what they need to do. So you can hire him actually if you're in the UK. You can hire him. I think it's like 200 quid for a session with him, and he'll strap up your boat and break down your stroke. But yeah, I don't. Severi's rhythm for me, I don't quite like it. He kind of stays. There's a lot. I don't like how his knees pop up so early. His shoulders are still behind his back, and his knees are already up. For me, I think you should get your shoulders in front of your knees before you maybe get your knees to like a kind of quarter bend and get your shoulders in front. But for me with Sverri, I think he leaves that a little bit too late, and I just don't like the way it looks. Like it's just too kind of like gradual, like too slow of a rock over. He's very smooth, and he's very loose, but I just don't like that element of his stroke. And then the other big element of his stroke I don't like is, I'm not entirely against the bent arm, but what he does do is he keeps bending his arm as the drive goes on, and it just, I don't like that way of. I think if you're gonna have a bent arm, it should stay bent the whole time. You shouldn't be driving and bending at the same time. So yeah, that's just what I think about his stroke. He obviously is still pretty quick, but technically there's a lot that I'm not a fan of it. Cool, this is the Kiwi sculler, Tom Mackintosh. I think he's captain of Oxford this year for the boat race. He's definitely a very kind of Kiwi style of sculling where it's pretty short. He's not reaching out. I don't know how far we're in, maybe 200 in. So, but you look at all the Kiwi scullers, Robbie Manson, the kind of new era of them ever since Mahe left. It's kind of like all their shorter, like 5'10", 6 foot rowers, scullers. You'd think they'd be rowing at full slide, but it's interesting to me because still so many of them. I mean, he looks like he's around kind of. Oh, you can't see this. You also can't see his face. Shit, hold on. I guarantee you at another point I'm going to be talking about someone's blade. Their blade's going to be like in here, and it's just going to be my big face like, oh, I think that they should do this, and you guys aren't going to be able to see anything. Hold on, I'll make myself nice and small. Look at the size of my forehead. Anyways, so pretty short here. Quite a bent back. So if we look at that pelvis, if we think about, okay, skeleton time, right? You've got your kind of pelvis like that, and then your legs, that's front on. Okay, if we look like side on here, what ideally you should have is your angle like that forward, and your pelvis is kind of like rocked forward as well. And then your legs, I guess it's not going to be perfect like this, but ideally you've got a nice forward angle with your pelvis here, and then your legs are going up like that. And then what that means is when you drive back, you can tap into that opening with the pelvis. But normally what happens is if you don't have your pelvis tilted forward, which here it kind of looks like his pelvis is almost at a backwards angle, which is why, again, interesting. I wonder, I don't know. I know that the Kiwi pair didn't do very much weights. I think weights, the big strength of weights is that you get more mobile from it. But we see here that kind of pelvis angle is tilted back, so he can't quite snap and open with it until he gets to here. There's just not much kind of snap with the body, if you ask me. So best thing about weights is the ability to improve your mobility. I would also say he doesn't quite connect. I mean, like, clearly the Kiwis are doing something well with their technique, because a lot of the Scullers, which I think is cool, aren't 6'6", and a lot of them, their 2Ks are around like 6 minutes, 6:05. I know they train hard, but like, just looking at their technique, I'm never like, oh, that's amazing. A pretty quick catch. You know, he's lifting his blade pretty quickly as soon as he's, oh, fuck's sake. Bear with me here. Yeah, pretty quick lift there. I would say that's a pretty good catch. But it also looks like he just doesn't engage his glutes as much as he could. So much squeeze, and there's kind of a bit of a kind of like a slip with the hips, if you ask me, as well, before he gets connected. But then interestingly, I've seen some pretty fast Scullers do that as well. But just what we look for when we're coaching is ideally a bit of loading through the glutes, and if you can use your glutes, that just connects your legs to your back. And okay, your quad, if you've got your calf here and your thigh there, your quad muscle is responsible for this contraction here. And then if you've got your thigh here and then your back there, your glute is responsible for bringing these two things together. So you need both your glute and your quads to fire at the same time. And a lot of the time, people's quads fire much easier than their glutes do. So you see it happen quite a lot. You also see people go pretty quickly while not doing it. But yeah, good leg drive first, and then quite a lot of arm bend. I would say that's too much arm bend if you ask me, going into the back, but pretty nice clean extraction with the blades as well. Cool. Okay, who do we want to watch next? I'll wait for the next close-up. Yeah. Come on, show me somebody else. Just leave the video. Here we go. This will do. So the Greek guy. I don't know why I did a Scottish accent. The Greek guy. I like his technique. Stefanis Nucos. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Okay. Cons. Shoulders pretty high. Looking down. I think when you look down, your chest goes down, your posture goes down, everything goes down. When you look up, you know, you don't want to be looking like that, but I mean, like, look, you know, up a little bit, and that helps your chest sit up, helps you row with better posture. But apart from that, I mean, pretty good angle of the body in front of the shoulders, shoulders in front of the hips. And he holds it pretty nicely. Going into the front, gets pretty good compression there. Shins to perpendicular, quite a lot of bend. Pelvis is relatively neutral, but pretty compressed. The only thing it looks like he kind of does is like he kind of has a bit of a kind of, he comes in and then his butt, the angle kind of changes at the last minute. So it's interesting, because if you ask me, like right before, when he's here, this is not a strong position. And then he goes in at that position, in at that position, in at that position. He goes, oh shit, I need to take the load. Okay, right, I'm going to correct, and I'm going to get, before you can see the blades. Can you see it? You can see the blades are still up, and before he does that, he kind of corrects that angle, and he gets into a bit more of an upright angle here, and then he takes the load. So if it was me, I would say, why are you doing this like last minute kind of change? Just rock over into this position and then keep it on the way forward. So like, you know, here, why don't just rock over into this position? Because he's rocking forward all the way, and he doesn't need to, because he changes it back at the last second. where he opens up there. And that's like, to me, like that's a really nice position. This is why this guy won the Olympics in Tokyo. Really nice connection in the spoon here. I think this is very good. Sitting up nice and tall. Look at that head position as well, like looking more straight. And he really, really holds that nicely. Holds. Starts to open kind of around halfway down the leg drive. Really nice hang through the body here, through the legs. Really powerful opening. Really, I think this is the best technique in this race, if you ask me. Really nice opening. Arms, leaving the arms alone until the last second. And then guess what else he does? He comes through clean with the finish. One thing you should take away, this is why we're so big on it. All the best scullers, in my opinion, take the blade out square and then turn it feather. I've heard some coaches saying you shouldn't do that because it keeps connection. I think that's wrong. There's a lot of things I'll admit that I think you can go a couple ways about it. I think feathering your blade under the water is wrong. It just is. Anyways. Yeah, and then from there he goes back down into that kind of like low sneaky profile again. So yeah, I don't know how many minutes. We're at 16 minutes here. Okay, we've covered 3 techniques. I think that's enough. If you guys like this format of me, look at him go, going over these races, I'm happy to do more of them. We covered 4 scullers here. World Rowing doesn't like... Oh, this guy's technique was good as well, but to be honest, I got other shit I need to do. I can't be arsed doing a review on that. I did try to do the one on Joe Sullivan, because I think that was a great video, a great race of the 2012 double. But World Rowing took it down, so it is what it is. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, comment Ultra Human Ring. I'm charging it right now. I've swapped from the Whoop to the Ultra Human. I like it better because the Whoop thing was getting in the way. Also, when you go on a night out, I don't want to be wearing, like, I don't like the way it looks, but I like the way the ring looks. So yeah, if you've made it this far, comment Ultra Human. And let me know if you liked this style of video where I just play a whole race and kind of go over everybody's techniques. I thought it was fun, but that's more just because it was a change. But look at these guys go. Well, that would be a way to keep rowing entertaining, wouldn't it? If you had to rate 50, and if you go under 50, you get disqualified. I think that's a way to make rowing more entertaining. Imagine, look, rowing's not an entertaining sport. Like, people like it because it's hard and monotonous. Like, that's the appeal. It just doesn't make good television. But this would be entertaining, watching it like this. Or you could give everybody like a little engine or a backing it race. That's what we could do. You then get here and then you have to back it all the way. That would be entertaining. You know what else would be entertaining? A golfer with a hand growing out of his ass. You ever see Happy Gilmore? That's a quote from that. Anyways. Right, I'm going to stop talking. Okay, like the video, subscribe. If you made it this far and you haven't liked this video yet, what are you doing? Stop being so selfish. I've given you all this value and entertainment over the past 20 minutes and you can't even give me a like. The world's not fair. Anyways, okay, bye.